Hello, people. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk, and I'm your host, Nathan. I've got my co-host here, Tom. How are you, Tom?
Well, I'm staying warm in my house. We have thunderstorms and hail out here in sunny California, which isn't very sunny today.
It's not much better in the UK. It's crap as usual. Right. In an article taken from Boxing News 24, Andy Ruiz Jr. has said he would love to fight Deontay Wilder.
I'm sure that I think that's a great fight. Either way, if they make it, I'd like to see Andy Ruiz match with one of the top guys because he is a good boxer and he's dangerous. And he's looking good and trim, so he seems more motivated. I don't know why he wasn't motivated this way for the second fight with AJ.
Yeah, because he would have won.
He let himself go for that.
I believe if he was in shape, he would have won that fight. That's what I believe. Because stylistically, his style does not match up well for AJ in terms of styles. I think that kind of smaller man who can counterpunch is all wrong for Anthony Joshua.
Yes, but AJ made some adjustments that he needed to do, which was be more cautious and to keep him at the end of the jab and clutch when he got close. Andy Ruiz is dangerous, man. You can't let him close to you like that.
No,
it's hard.
Because he'll take your head off. If you're boxing someone like him, you need to keep it on the outside. And that way you can beat him. If you try and knock him out,
right,
he'll take you out.
Well, it's like Emmanuel Stewart, what he would say to Klitschko, fight like a big man. And that's what AJ did. He was the bigger man and he used his physical advantages to win the decision.
Definitely. I mean, for me, this style is all wrong for Deontay Wilder. I really believe that. Andy Ruiz's style.
The big question is, what does Deontay have left? And he does carry all of that power. The thing is, can he land his punch? If he doesn't, then Andy is going to outbox him and possibly stop him.
Oh. Hello, Spencer.
What's going on?
How are you?
Spencer!
What's going on?
We are discussing...
We're talking about the possible match between Ruiz and Deontay Wilder.
I mean, that's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. I'm still bugging out that Ruiz very real is on pay-per-view. But, I mean, yeah, it's a decent fight. They both former champions. If neither one of them get a chance to fight Fury or AJ, that's, the next best option for both of them.
Right. Yeah, it's a major fight. It would get major exposure. And then, I was saying that we don't know how much Deontay has left. We know that Ruiz looks good. He seems motivated and in shape. And he should have been that way for the second fight with AJ, but he wasn't. So it's an interesting match anyway you cut it.
Yeah, it definitely is. I would Ruiz is going to fight Arreola. I would like to see who they would set Wilder up first with. Maybe Charles Martin. There was rumors of him fighting Charles Martin.
Right.
I don't know exactly how Charles Martin would prep before Andy Ruiz, but hey.
Well,
I don't think anybody can really.
I believe it's a fight that Wilder should stay away from. Because he could seriously lose that fight with the way Ruiz fights. Well, obviously, if Ruiz can withstand the punishment, then he if it goes to the points, he's going to win. I believe. He really needs to take him out early.
Yeah, I mean, he or hit him hard enough that Andy don't want to keep coming in.
So there's the difference. So the big shots he throws should be enough deterrent to keep Ruiz off it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, in my opinion, this is JD's is not a good trainer. This is just my opinion. Of the two people that was training him and Mark Breland, I think he got rid of the wrong guy. But JD's been his friend since he's been boxing. So, you know, he wasn't going to get rid of him. You know,
Right.
Mark, of the two, Mark is the outsider. So he would have got rid of him. But Mark has way more knowledge, can show him way more things than what JD's can do. And the way, like, he doesn't have anybody to try to correct his flaws right now in his camp. They're gonna just let him do whatever he wants to do.
Right. Right now he's a one-trick pony.
Right. And he messed around and somebody else beat him before he could even get a Ruiz fight. He does have that powerful right hand, and you know, if he's smart, they would get another trainer to come in there and help him work on some things. But you know, kind of.
I think he would need a mental adjustment, you know, because he so strongly believed in his power and his ability to knock people out that, you know, he was willing to go to the death with Fury, thinking that he could just at any time land that one punch.
He says it all the time. He says it all the time. He's like, yo, they got to be perfect for 36 minutes. I only got to be right 1 minute. All I need is one hit. And, you know, like, and he fought like that. He was behind in a few fights and, you know, had to rely on the power and get the timing. I mean, and it's quite possible he could have did it in the fight if Mark Breland didn't throw in the towel. It's quite possible that he could have, like, survived that round and then, you know, regrouped or something. But, you know, I don't think that would have happened. It did not look like it was going down that road. So Mark did what he should have did, you know, what most think was the smartest decision. So, you know, like, it's like his mental state. Yeah, you're right. He needs something to check his mental state. He didn't take losing well.
Lots of excuses and conspiracy theories
and if he thinks that he doesn't need to change anything in order to win, then, you know, he's just going to lose. He might lose to Joseph Parker or somebody now.
Well, you know, he's taken punishment. He took punishment in a few fights, especially with Ortiz and Fury. So I don't know which Deontay Wilder is going to show up. I don't think at this point he can change anything, to be honest with you. So
yeah, like you said, he would need to get somebody to go into his head and compliment him on his right hand, but also get him to realize you need more. You can do so much. You could go so much farther if you added more.
Right. And if they worked on his awkwardness, he has a natural awkwardness that sometimes works in his favor.
Yeah.
You know, they just,
like him, the way he does that thing that he tries to do and size up a person, but, you know, like, I mean, he was doing it more recently. And but, you know, like he tries to look at his opponent to try to measure them. And then, you know, that seems to work for him sometimes. It didn't work for him against Tyson, but, you know, it seems to work
Tyson
for him.
Tyson had the game plan.
Yeah.
He had the game plan. That was all. That was it. He had a game plan and he stuck to it and it worked.
And it probably was shocking that Fury came to fight and was trying to put Wilder on his back foot instead of trying to elude the punches. He was trying to, you know, meet him, you know, and that kind of maybe threw him off too. Like, okay, wow, Fury isn't trying to get away from my punches. He's trying to come to him.
We better move on because we've got a little bit to cover here. It's been confirmed that Arthur Batavia will be fighting Adam Deans on the 20th of March. This is for the WBC and IBF light heavyweight title. What do you guys know about this Deans guy?
Yeah, I mean, I did I see tape on this Deans guy? I might have seen something on him. You seen something, Tom?
I think I did. He's strong. He's a strong guy. He's not the greatest boxer, but he's very strong. You know, he's a good puncher. We'll see. I mean, Beterbiev should win this, but Beterbiev has been plagued by a couple of illnesses. He got COVID, right? And then he had a surgery.
And he's been out for a minute. So
yeah.
To be honest, I'm looking at his opponent's record. This guy, his record is terrible. You know, so this is a gimme fight. Really.
Isn't this a mandatory? Isn't he the number one?
Yeah, he is.
The mandatory?
Yeah, he is, but he's terrible, man. The last two people he beat, the last guy he beat had a 10-win record, 12 losses. The guy before that had one fight, and the guy before that had 14, and then he lost to Fan Ling Meng on point, who's a decent fighter. But this guy, this should be an easy night's work.
Well, it'll be a good workout, you know.
It's a good thing about it. Because Beterbiev, he hasn't fought in a while, so
yeah,
we'll see what happens with him. But the guy will put up a fight for a while, and if Beterbiev is in good shape, he should be able to take him out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. It like you said, it might take him a minute or two. I think so, because of the whole inactivity. He got to get the little groove going. But once he catches up to him, I think he's going to stop him. I don't think no more than 6.
I was thinking the same number, but we have been wrong in the past, so we'll see.
I'm going to go for round three. Round 3. This guy doesn't last.
Okay.
All right.
Right, next in the pan, we've got...
Too bad we can't bet anything on it, you know.
Yeah.
Amir Khan is planning to come back some point this year. And his opponents are being listed as Kell Brook, and Adrian Broner is also a possibility, which I think will be a good fight.
I mean, truth be told, those... As far as fights are concerned, those are interesting fights. Him versus Kell Brook or him versus Adrian Broner. Either one. Like, you know, I mean, it would have been ideal like 5-6 years ago. But hey, they both passed their best. They were all in the same.
I don't think it's a good match for Adrian right now. I think Adrian needs to just fight a few fights, you know, with guys that are in the lower classes and get his head back into it and get cleaned up, you know. That could be, if he fights Khan and Khan beats him, that could be a big blow to his career right now.
Yeah, because Khan is not supposed to be like the only thing that Adrian Broner would try to rely on is Khan's weak chin and catching up to him.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Because Khan is more active, you know.
Yeah.
Khan will be more active and throw more punches, and that'll just make Adrian go into his shell.
Right. AB won't throw anything, and he'll just be on the defensive. Yeah. But Amir Khan, that's just being too optimistic. Never mind. I was gonna say, if they fight at 140, maybe we see a different Adrian Broner, but that's being too optimistic.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Right. Next in the can.
Kell Brook versus Adrian Amir Khan.
Oh, you're going to move on? Go ahead.
Yeah, next in the can. Yeah. Tyson Fury is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He stopped training. He's now on holiday. Apparently, he's drinking 10 pints of beer a day.
Well, didn't I say the other day when we were on our last show, he didn't look right to me?
Yeah.
You know, I posted an interview with him. He was getting a massage, and his face, he looked puffy and drawn. He didn't have that look of fitness that he had a couple months ago.
But you know, I see some guys that's from the UK that posted up like saying that he's just joking about the 10 pints a day, or that they showed a video of him sparring 3 guys in a ring or something at one time. So like he's still in the gym training. Like in his interviews, he says contradictory things in the sentence. Like, yeah, I'm drinking 12 pints a day, but I'm also training. Like, what is it? You know?
Well, you know, he could also be playing possum, right? You know, making AJ think, well, maybe I should get that contract signed now.
Listen,
who knows what he's doing? He plays head games.
I'm saying it like this, right? Eddie Hearn was saying, which is odd to me that he mentioned this. Eddie Hearn says, we're just waiting for the guys to sign, and then once they sign, we're going to get a venue and a date. Now, I'm not sure how that works, but I thought it was supposed to not work like that per se. Like you're supposed to get at least a potential date and venue before you expect somebody to sign. Like I know they got a lot of the network issues that they have to deal with the AJ fight, because not only ESPN and DAZN, but they got to do the UK split, Sky and BT. So, you know, it's a lot of sharing the pot, so to speak. And, you know,
dividing
ESPN
the pie,
and Bob, ESPN and Bob Arum ain't paying Tyson Fury all that money to be splitting it 4 ways.
Well, you know, it would be a really sad thing if we couldn't get this one off. You know, if we couldn't get this thing signed and a date. I could understand why Eddie would want to like prolong it and have AJ do his mandatories and keep him making money and then see what happens with this. But there's a history here of like not wanting to go for Wilder, and also this now with Fury. I think that they're trying to keep him protective. This whole marination thing that I can't stand.
Yeah, it's odd because AJ runs the risk of losing to a lower caliber fighter like he did with Ruiz. Yes. It was a big deal because it was AJ's US homecoming, but he still, you know, like that was a lower level fight. That wasn't supposed to be a Wilder clash, or the way the all British, undisputed heavyweight, you know, like that's not, those fights, you should be like, all right, let me do this now because AJ might lose to Usyk. I'm saying for like 20 million, as opposed to losing to Fury twice for 200 million.
Let me say this. With Big Baby, it was a lower level fight. When Ruiz stepped in, I don't think they really understood the level that Ruiz was at, you know, in his pedigree, his long amateur pedigree, and how many fights he had won. Because he lost to Parker, a lot of people thought he won, whatever. But he wasn't really a lower level in terms of talent. But I understand what you mean.
No, not even. And I'm not even saying that Miller was a low level talent. I'm just saying as far as the profile of the fight, the exposure, it was a big deal because it was AJ's US homecoming, but it was
a showcase, right?
It wasn't because of who he was fighting. It was strictly the deal was it was US homecoming. So, you know, Ruiz had a little bit of that whole Mexican, you know, they like they Mexican fighters, you know, they have fans, they got that built-in fan base, so to speak. But other than that, you know, like it was a low profile. Like it didn't make him as much money as say a Wilder or Fury fight is bound to make him. Especially if you're getting 2 fights out the deal and you getting like at least 50-50 on both fights. That's like a $200 million deal. Well, at least $100 million for the first fight, because if you get washed in the first fight, not too many people might want to see the second fight. But you know,
well, it was great.
If you could, you know, like, yeah. I mean, people did want to see AJ come back because he did not. See, that one was a little bit more interesting because he did knock him down. Ruiz now had a big following. It was the first Mexican heavyweight champ. So, you know, his exposure grew a lot. So the second fight was way bigger than the first fight between AJ and Ruiz.
Yeah, and I think Ruiz blew it.
Yeah, well, he about to get another pay-per-view. So
well, that's all great, man.
You want to move on, Nathan? He blew it in the sense of when he had his time at the top, he didn't like, give it his all to stay there. But he sure enough surprised everybody by beating AJ in the first place. So.
Oh yeah, getting off the canvas was something in itself.
Yeah, getting off the canvas and then saying, "Come on, let's go," and then proceeding to drop him two times in that round.
I never. That look on AJ's face was like, "What's happening? What's going on?"
Yeah, listen. I cannot forget the damn time I was watching it. It was like I said, "Oh, Ruiz down. There we go." And then he got up and then dropped AJ. AJ was like, uh-oh. That was it. I was like, oh man. All of you fans.
Let's move on, guys.
Was like,
let's move on.
All right. Let's move on.
On the 3rd of April, Jamal Herring will be defending the WBO super featherweight title against Carl Frampton.
The Jackal. Yeah, this one should be a good one. I'm going with my dude Simplify. So
me too. I'm going with Herring.
I have to be honest, I think if this fight had been 3 or 4 years earlier, it would be a different result.
It might be, but a couple of years ago, Herring was at lightweight and Frampton was at featherweight. So
what? He's massive. There's a big difference in size and reach. Yeah, I've got to go with Herring on this one. I think Frampton's too. I don't think he's got it anymore. He hasn't got it.
And Frampton talking about retirement. I usually say that when them fighters start talking about they about to retire, their mind is really gone out the game. Like that enthusiasm isn't the same.
Yeah, that's right.
As soon as they like, this is it. This is my, last hurrah. He said this fight, and if he wins this fight, he said, who else did he say after this one?
I don't know.
Did he say Valdez? I don't know if he said Valdez. If he wins this, he might want to fight Valdez and then call it a day. That'd be good aspirations.
Yeah, that'll be a good fight too if he wins.
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna win.
No, I don't.
He was a great warrior, though. He really, he was a good boxer. Everything. It should be a great fight any way you cut it.
I seen when he beat what's it called? I was at the fight when he beat Leo.
Right. Yeah. I hope Leo Santa Cruz comes back too.
Yeah. He got some interesting fights at 130. They could do a Mexican type of thing with Valdez if they wanted to cross promote that.
Yep, they could.
But I don't know. Aram seems like I don't know. Aram seems. I don't know, man.
Aram seems like Aram. He seems
like he just seeming more. He needs to let Todd take a little bit. Or Todd gets deals done with other companies. Bob seemed to be like, my way or the highway. Y'all gotta deal with me the way I want to do it.
What's next, Nathan?
Dillian White on why Lennox Lewis is Britain's.
Nathan.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Dillian White on why Lennox Lewis is the greatest British heavyweight
champion ever. I guess he is.
Yeah, but why does he say that?
Because of the wins he got. And he came.
I mean, listen, it might be partly because people talk about Tyson Fury or AJ might be there as the greatest ever.
Yeah.
So like Lennox Lewis, like both AJ and Fury, as great as they have been of this era, they got quite, like Lennox Lewis beat quite a few Hall of Fame fighters. Quite a few.
Right.
So, like beating Wilder and Vladimir Klitschko, while it's great, not the same as beating Holyfield really twice.
Or
to be fair to Joshua,
Vitaly Klitschko.
Yeah,
or Vitaly. I was about to run down the list. Vitaly at the end.
Vitaly didn't beat anyone.
Damn, that was some fight.
Really did.
Not especially not at that point, but it was a good fight. And Mike Tyson, he got Mike Tyson win.
My list goes.
I mean, he got all those other, nondescript guys. Shannon Briggs, he beat up Shannon Briggs.
Right. My list of top British heavyweights.
Well, here's the deal. Here's my 2 cents.
Carry on. Is who?
Okay, let's hear that. Let's hear your list.
Lennox Lewis by a landslide.
No, let's hear your list.
Joshua, Tyson Fury, and then Frank Bruno, David Hay, and then Joe Budden.
Right.
Okay.
Well, what about Henry?
Is there who you said?
Sorry, Henry Cooper. Yeah, Henry Cooper number 6. Joe Budden 7. And that's pretty
okay.
Good.
So, well, here's my opinion on Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis fought some really bad. I mean, bad in the sense that they were like tough, mean fighters. He fought some guys that were just pit bulls. And even though he was knocked out in that first time by Oliver McCall was a bad dude. And, he had a breakdown in the second fight, but he was not only a good boxer, Lennox, but he had the dog in him. He had that toughness in him where he would fight you if he had a fight.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, and he got better. He seen what he was doing wrong, and he said, "You know what, Emmanuel, come help me out."
Right. And Emmanuel was happy to do it. So he had that thing where he could really just get in there and fight like he did a couple of times, especially in the last one with Vitaly. How many of these guys now can beat Vitaly Klitschko, AJ or Tyson Fury?
No. The problem with
AJ wouldn't be able to beat Vitaly. Not that Vitaly.
The only question mark I've got with Lennox Lewis is that he kind of avoided the other guys, didn't he? Because he didn't turn pro till 89 or 90, and the other guys, like Tyson was already champion like 4 years before he became pro,
Yeah, but Tyson wouldn't fight him back then. Tyson avoided him, and so did Riddick Bowe. But you forgot about Bob Fitzsimmons too. He's another great
yeah.
First the world heavyweight champion from Britain.
What was his name?
So, anyway, yeah, I think definitely he's the best heavyweight right now until we see the reign of AJ and Tyson Fury come to an end. We'll see.
Another 5 years.
Well, listen, AJ,
happens.
Fury, if he gets the chance to fight AJ, I believe, with the 2 fights and beats him, I don't think he's fighting anymore. I think he'll retire, and maybe he may come back and fight whoever's the big guy soon or whatever. But I don't think he's going to be fighting all contenders and all that.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, he doesn't really get up for those type of fights.
Got it. We need to move along because I have something I have to do in about 15 minutes.
We've more or less
what's next?
Anyway. We've got one more thing, and then we're more or less done. Let me just quickly find it.
Okay, great. Well, I have them up here if you need help here. So let's see. We have the fight this weekend. We talked about the fight this weekend with everybody. Let's see. Beterbiev we talked about. We talked about what else here? Tyson Fury questions Usyk's ability to beat the top heavyweight.
We didn't talk about that yet.
I agree with him.
We'll finish on that one.
I agree with him. Oh, we have Sean Porter and Terence Crawford too.
Okay, we'll talk about the
and Deontay Wilder retiring. But fine.
So what's your opinion on that Sean Porter, Terence Crawford? He'll be ready in May. You think they're going to do it or not?
No.
Nah, I think I've heard the rumors is Bud Crawford gonna fight Josecito Lopez or something.
Right. Didn't they offer him $1 million and Porter turned it down?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I heard he want more than that.
Yeah. Maybe he should. I mean, he's a former champion. He's a top guy. His losses were very close, and but I think Crawford will just dismantle him. It would be a great fight if they get it to go.
Yeah. I think the only issue with the Sean Porter fight, it's kind of like, in order to get Sean Porter that type of money, you need to kind of have it on some type of pay-per-view platform, right? Because you got to give Bud Crawford his 4.5, whatever his guarantee is, especially the way Bob been talking about him. He's telling me like, I'm not giving you no pay cut. You know what I'm saying? You have to pay me my max, buddy. So, for him to pay $4.5 million or whatever to Bud Crawford, and then to have to turn around and pay Sean Porter something like $2 or $3 million, that requires pay-per-view.
Right.
Even if it's going to only do 150, 200,000, that's going to require pay-per-view. And if they ain't already start setting it up, then they ain't going to be set up. And, so I don't think Sean Porter and May will happen. He's saying he's ready, but like, I would be really shocked if he fights him in May.
So would I, at this point. Hey, you guys see Brandon Lee in that knockout?
Oh my God, yeah. And I see what you were saying about the punch that homeboy threw at that time that he caught him. He got hit with a left, I think it was a left hook at the time that he, but that punch was solid.
Wow, the guy's legs just went completely out. He went face first.
The ref was like, it's over. It ain't even got to count. This is that.
See, Tia threw the left and was coming with the right uppercut when he caught that right hand.
Yeah.
He threw the left hook and he went to go for the right uppercut, and so he was wide open.
Yeah, when he threw the left, he didn't bring it back. I mean, he didn't guard himself afterwards.
Right. He was open, wide open. But he knocked his Lee's head took a spin, man. He went back, he was a little stunned.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was something. Did you see it, Nathan?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Nathan.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's up there on the website. Check it out.
Okay.
And we have Gonzalez this weekend and Estrada.
Yeah.
I don't know. Estrada looks he doesn't look good to me.
What's it called? Is about to come on.
I'm sorry, not Estrada. Chocolatito doesn't look as good a shape as Estrada looks.
Rumbazai.
All right, we bet. Okay, guys, we'll pack up. Is everybody Monday?
Visai.
Yeah, Surin Visai has a different fight in Thailand with somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the show, mates. It was fun.
Yep.
Is everybody available for Monday or Wednesday? Or is it just Wednesday you're available?
Hit me up. Let me know.
Monday is good. I'm only good until 6 on Monday, which is 2 a.m. your time. I could do 1 to 2 a.m. on Monday, and Wednesday I'm pretty open.
So 1 a.m.
Wednesday I have more time.
1 a.m. English time on Tuesday, which is Tuesday.
Either way works with me. Monday or Wednesday. Monday works for me.
Okay, I'll see you on Monday.
All right.
Okay.
Speak to y'all later.
Yeah.
Later.
All right. Good night.